I want to talk to you, the new nonprofit founder who's just starting their nonprofit organization, but thinking, how do I raise money for my new nonprofit startup? How do I raise money to scale my impact? Well, there are 9 clear steps you must take if you're serious about raising money for your impact. The very first step is what we call the fundraising audit. The purpose for this is so that you can understand the assets and the opportunities available to you to raise money for your organization. So a fundraising audit is you asking yourself, have I raised money in the past before? What has worked for me in raising money? Who do I know that can help me raise money? Who can I reach out to talk to about raising money? Who can I make the ask to now to help us raise money? Who do I have in my database that I can tap into to help raise money? Who do my board members know, or who do my team know to help us raise money? You need to be able to answer these questions so that you can best understand the opportunities in front of you before going out there. Like a wise man once said, before going out, always look within, and that's what fundraising audit does for you. The next step of the process is what we call the market study. I got a founder who asked me recently, say, how do you do a market study? Well, first, a market study is basically you searching your zip code, you searching your service area, or you searching the entire United States to find people who love your vision, people who have proven to give into an organization like yours in the past, people who are affiliated with a vision like yours. By finding this group of people, as much as possible, 10,000, 20,000 of these people, you can then be able to start building the relationship that's needed to scale your organization. So, like I said, before you look outside, you look within. Now, market study is the opportunity for you to look out. And you're not just looking out for people, you're also looking out for corporate organizations, you're also looking out for brands, businesses, you're also looking out for foundations and grantor organizations. So the concept of market study is really you scanning your community, you scanning your service area to find out which opportunities are available, who are those people who give to organizations like yours, so that you can begin initiating those relationships that can help you raise money. Now, once you're done with the market study, the next step of the process is the fundraising plan creation. Now you know the people you have within. Now you know the people who are outside the organization. The question now is, how do you engage these people? This is where fundraising planning comes in. So fundraising planning is you defining your strategy of engagement, is you creating a plan of care for each of your segment audience. So for companies, you have a plan of care for them. For grant organizations, you have a specific plan of care. For individual donors, you also have your plan of care. For major gift sponsors, you have your plan of care. This is so that you know exactly how to engage each person within your funding database, right? And a plan of care is simply like the donor journey. From the very first point you engage them to the point where they get to give, you have to be able to create what that plan looks like. Whether it's a phone call, before an email, before sending in a letter, before inviting in for office visitation, before program invitation, all that has to be clearly laid out so that you're taking one step at a time towards getting to your goal of asking where you can bring in the resources that's needed. So fundraising planning is basically you planning this plan of care, knowing what it will cost you, the people you need, the tools you need before going out there to raise the money. And of course, the next step of the process is resource development. Since you now know how you want to engage these people, you now know how you want to raise money, you need to create the tools and resources that's needed for you to execute your fundraising plan. So, for example, if you're looking to bring in corporate funding, you should have your proposals at hand, you should have your case for support, you should have your strategic plan. Sometimes you have to create your marketing adverts, your content, fundraising email letters. All that has to be created before you go out there to go raise money. So resource development is really you going down, right, and really developing the tools that are needed to go out there to raise money. The next step, once you've done resource development, is relationship building. Fundraising is a product of relationship. You can't just meet somebody for the first time and you're asking for money. If you need funding, you need to be able to build a relationship. The marketing people call it a know, like, and trust factor, right? But you need to build that relationship. You need to ensure that you have the credibility for you to get the funding. So, of course, relationship building helps you do that. And there are different ways you could do that. Sometimes you could do it with a survey. People like to share their opinions, people like to share their ideas, right? Or sometimes you could do it by initiating a phone call, sending an email, right? Inviting them to a program, depending on what initiating a relationship look like based on your situation. But of course, there are different options available to you, and that's what I'm listing out to you now. So once you've initiated the relationship, the next step is to nurture the relationship. And how do you nurture relationships? You nurture relationships by doing favors, by providing assistance, by showing that you're somebody who is valuable, right? So you could run an awareness event to invite people in, just to talk about your vision. You could go a step further to ask for their advice. You could invite them in for your programs. You could go visit them in their office. You could provide them regular updates on what your organization is all about, right? That's basically how you nurture a relationship. So for every relationship, nurturing means may look different, but we know basically what you need to nurture a relationship, you should know what that looks like for your organization. And of course, once you're done nurturing the relationship, you can then move on to say, let's make the ask, let's start raising money. Of course, you can do that through pledges, you can do that through direct ask, you can do that through acts to support. Sometimes you have to invite these people to even be on your board. Sometimes you could invite them to be on your advisory board. Sometimes you all have to go all out there and just make the ask. Sometimes, it just depends on what making the ask looks like for you. But this step of the process is the seventh step of the process, and you must take note of it. And one thing you should know is people do what you tell them to do. So if you want them to give to you, you have to make the ask. You have to ask them to give to you. And then, of course, once you're done with that, making the ask, there's the next step of the process, which is donor stewardship. So making the ask, the process does not end there. You have to steward your donors. Those who are giving to you, you have to make sure you're stewarding them. Those who are yet to give to you, you have to make sure you're following up with them. So donor stewardship and follow up is the next step, where you're making sure you steward those who have donated to you, providing them regular, updates, providing them value if you promise to provide them value, right? Really stewarding, engaging, asking questions, getting feedback is how you steward your donors, and of course, following up with those who are yet to give so that they can give. If they didn't give the first time, doesn't mean they are lost. And then, of course, lastly, you need to start inspiring a culture of philanthropy within your organization. Because once you've done all this, it's very easy to just do this and go. But if you want this process to continue, if you want your organization to keep raising money, you need to nurture what we call the culture of philanthropy. And that's basically you getting everybody on board who executed with you to say, how do we keep replicating this? And then getting everybody to replicate and keep replicating until you have a system of fundraising that is working for you, that's consistently bringing in income for your organization. So if you're a new non-profit founder, you're struggling to raise money, you need support to raise money, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you. We'll help you strategize on the best strategies to raise money, help you identify what assets and opportunities are available to you, and then together we can work out there to raise the money and help you reach your fundraising goal for your non-profit. All right, so it's going to be bye for today. Nice talking to you all, and thank you all for joining me today.